talk about a total squid, man. What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Chris out here on the Goldwing. And I just want to talk to some of you new riders out there. If you're going to get into riding a motorcycle, you need to put on the right protective gear, you know, and I've said that in my videos so many times, you know, like this squid in front of me, you know, this guy comes out of nowhere, and, you know, he might be the best rider in the world, you know, I don't know the guy, but, you know, he's not wearing a safety jacket, you know, he's wearing short pants, you know, and I think he's wearing tennis shoes, you know, and see, that's what you don't do, you know. That's what you don't do, you know. Let's see if I can get in here. This car let me in. And look at him. You know, that's what I call a total squid, man. You know, the guy didn't have on any protective gear whatsoever. When you take people that do not ride motorcycles, and the first thing they want to tell you about, you know, some guy was in a bad motorcycle wreck, and, you know, or a bad accident. But, you know, sometimes it's the rider's fault. You know, he doesn't have on any armor. He didn't have on any Kevlar jeans or any jeans, period. You know, and some tennis shoes. And so the next time you guys, you know, you're talking to somebody and they want to try to tell you about a motorcycle accident, you know, ask them for specifics. Ask them, what was the guy wearing? You know, was he wearing any Kevlar? Was he wearing any CE-approved armor? You know, did he have on any gloves? You know, and most of the times they're going to tell you, well, I don't know. It was just a motorcycle involved. Like I said, you know, a lot of times it's the motorcyclist's fault. Lots of times. Now, it's not to say that it can't be the cage's fault, or not to say that it couldn't be the person riding the automobile fault. But, you know, lots of times it's the fault of the motorcyclists themselves. So, you know, when you're going to get out here, and especially some of you new riders, man, you know, put on some protective gear. You know, I know I'm sounding redundant. You know, I've said this in my previous videos. I sound like a broken record, but I can't overemphasize that, man. Dress for the slide, not the ride. You know, dress for the slide, not the ride. I mean, nobody ever plans on going down. You know I don't. I mean, but it can happen. You know, put on some good protective boots. You know, put on some good protective jeans, you know, with some CE-approved armor, you know, recommended, you know, a good jacket and some gloves. I know it's hot out here, man, you know, it's freaking 91 degrees, you know, so I know it's hot, but, you know, you got to put on your protection, you know, and that's what it's all about, man, making it to your destination, you know, safe. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to see what a squid looks like, you know, out here riding on the interstate, man, riding a motorcycle with no protective armor on, man. That's just not smart. I see a lot of guys do it. I'm not knocking anybody. I know some of you guys watch my videos. You know, you may not even wear protective gear, and you know that's your right. You know, you may not even have a helmet law in your state. You know, and you don't have to wear a helmet. You know, that's your right. I always put safety first, man, and you know, that's what I try to overemphasize, especially to some of you new riders. And some of you guys out there, you know, you're gonna still wear your t-shirt and short pants, and you know, it doesn't matter what the law says, you're gonna just wear what you want to wear. And you know, that's your right. I'm not putting you down, but for some of you new riders out there, you know, get into a habit of putting on your protective gear. You know, it's better to ride and ride safely. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys. This is your boy Chris out here on the Goldwing, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya. I'm a bad dude with some bad dreams. You see these ice cubes, you see these ice creams.